What is going on, everybody? My name is Ryfrost. Thank you for stopping by. Today we're doing a slightly different video in the sense that we are doing a live reaction and coverage to a Mythic Plus key that we did, a 21 Grimrail Depot as a preservation evoker. As you can tell by the thumbnail, we actually got 100 pass for that key for healing, so we did really well. So yes, it's a live coverage of a 21 Grimrail Depot, but it is content from a live stream. It's over at twitch.tv/Ryfrost, where I stream every Monday, Wednesday and Thursday. High Mythic Plus keys like this 21 Grimrail Depot, and of course Mythic Raiding when Dragonflight finally releases. Talents are on screen now, and I am Nightfare Covenant because of that extra movement ability, and I am Dreamweaver, so I get that extra pod if we do die. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please consider hitting that subscribe button, thumbs up, write in a comment down below. Do you like this type of coverage? It is a bit of a new concept to me, so this is the first one, so apologies if it is a bit dull, but I'm sure it'll get better over time. But anyway, I'll see you guys soon. So we're going to start off with the first boss. Nothing too adventurous at the leading up to this boss, other than the fact that we pulled almost half the room and died. So these two mobs are incredibly difficult. One does AoE smash damage, which is Borka, and then Railmaster does this AoE all around. So it's very important that we worry about our placements and also making sure that our heals are on every single target because there's constant AoE. So as you can see here, it's very focused around reversion and me clicking Lust, because I still haven't got it keybinded because I always fat finger Lust, so I always do it separate. But it's very much about using as much of our healing potential as possible. So a lot of the things that I was doing in this dungeon or in any Mythic Plus dungeon is that we need to look at putting Echo on as many players as we can and spreading that reversion, our heal over time, as best as we possibly can. The reason why we do that is because reversion does a very nice instant heal, and then also a little heal over time, and because we've got Echo, we can put it on almost every single target. This is a very good example of incredible healing potential. We're doing 15k HPS, making sure everybody stays up. We're making sure we tie in Verdant Embrace with our Dream Breath, because Verdant Embrace, when talented right, of course, makes our Dream Breath more powerful. And that can be tied in with Echo, like I said in my basic guide video, so you can pop Echo on targets, and then that will also affect your benefit from your Dream Breath. So first room or first cart can be quite difficult, like you can see there. Our tank got absolutely melted. Now, I didn't have time dilation up, it was on cooldown, so I could have maybe saved it for that area because there's a lot of instant damage, and time dilation would of course spread that damage over 8 seconds, and it makes it a little bit more manageable. We can actually stand in the middle and hit quite a far distance with our Dream Breath, but it does block sort of single casts. You can stand in a certain position, but it does sometimes get in the way. Now this room was a bit of a weird one because we did sort of pull quite a lot, and the tank did die, but we did really well with the heals per second, and we did quite a decent amount of damage as well, so it was a quite nice dungeon room. You can see here I'm using stasis, and I'm making sure I'm using them on my big cooldowns, so if I do need to use that, like there, I have able to pop it, but the tank absolutely melted, and I fell into sleep, which wasn't good. So maybe if that sleep wasn't there, we might have survived and been able to run to the back, but we did okay. We had a couple of hunters, and their pets did tank, and we stayed alive. I could have used Emerald Communion here, but once again, Shiba, our tank, just ran in and got absolutely melted, so there wasn't much that we could really do. A lot of AoE damage, a lot of potential. We could have used either tip the scales there to get a really good instant Spirit Bloom, or we could have used Rewind to give her that extra protection, but we ended up okay. I still haven't used Emerald Communion, so I could have used it there, but it is very important when you're in these high sort of damage situations. There we go, we did actually use it. It's important to stick to your cool and make sure that it's doable. The problem with us is when we get in a group, we haven't done a key as a team for, I think, season 3, so there was a lot of screaming and shouting and laughing. This boss doesn't really show much of an issue. The only time that it does cause an issue is if people are stood in fire or if they fall off the edge, but it is very much sort of keeping your heal over time on people, keeping reversion on as many people as you can, using Echo if needed, but this one is very much chance for you to get your damage window in, and it's very much a chance to get some damage passes and just healing when you possibly can. But here, once again, this is where it gets slightly more sort of tricky. The boss can do like an AoE on the floor and hit you, so if you make sure you do stay away from that. I used Emerald Communion there just because I did think we were going to get some people like there. Like our hunter there was stood in the AoE. I was expecting a lot of people to stand in there because in pugs people don't tend to move, so I popped Emerald Communion preemptively just to see if we could sort of survive that, but we didn't need it. Next room, what we tried to do was something that was a bit chaotic. Said, let's wait for Lust and pull the whole room. Now, something I would have normally skipped this because we didn't do too well, but it's important to acknowledge that, you know, certain parts of the dungeon that we still didn't do well, but also we managed to time it. So even though you do maybe fail sometimes, like you'll see in a minute, it is important to acknowledge that, you know, there is still a chance to make sure that you can get a good pass. And we did get 100 pass healing on this one. But yeah, we start with Lust and literally jump it straight in. Now, things I could have done there on this one, I could have popped my burst, which I didn't. So I had a haste trinket key, and I stood in the lightning there, and I ended up dying, which wasn't a really good thing, and bursting as well. So I did have stasis up, but for whatever reason it didn't track it, and it really confused me. But I had the potential of popping rewind there. If I had Emerald Communion up, that would have been a really good possible sort of healing potential for me, and we could have maybe stayed alive. But luckily we had a hunter. We had 2 hunters actually, and a really good balance druid that did some amazing damage. So the tank survived enough for us to be able to actually kill the majority of what was on that platform. But for me, like here, stasis is still up. I didn't actually cast anything within stasis. Whether or not that was an error from me, I'm not too sure. But I thought it's important to mention as well the things that we do really well, and you know, it's also important to acknowledge that this part of the video we didn't do too good. But luckily we had a really good team, and of course when you're doing a Mythic Plus, it's not just about the healer or the tank, it's about the team in general and having really good synergy. And of course in this dungeon we had some really good synergy, and we had a really good chance to actually survive the whole platform. Our tank died in the fire because, you know, I'm leaving that in because She-Bear probably watch this and see it, and I want to make sure that in the video I actually told him to run across the platform, and he listened to me, which is a lesson learned. Don't listen. Just make sure you kick the storm shield and stay away from the AoE, and if you can stun the Thunder Zone mobs, it's really important to do so because it can get a bit messy, and especially if you're pulling an entire platform like we tried, there can be a lot of Thunder Zones on there. And yeah, because it was fortified, we didn't feel that we needed a Lust window for this, because normally that would be for a tyrannical week. If it was a tyrannical week, we could have probably pulled the entire boss room and not had a problem. So maybe we should switch it around next time and give it a try. But yeah, this one, I don't exactly know what happened. Let me just go back and see, because I've been wanting to see exactly what happened. I think I got hit by the spinning spear, but it was in a really weird angle. I've never sort of experienced the spear coming at me. It normally goes off to the side, so maybe I was just too close for it to proc. I preemptively Emerald Communion. Probably didn't need to do that. I was expecting, once again, a lot of people to be standing in the electricity, because spending a lot of time in pugs, you sort of get used to the particular damage windows where people take the most damage, and that is a really high window for it. Once again, it's very much managing those cooldowns. I popped stasis here just in case, because I was expecting once again another high damage window from this electricity, because the last sort of percentage of the boss health, the dragon sort of tends to like cover the entire platform with electricity. But we did all right because we're a really good team and we actually survived. So not actually any potential for incredible healing on that. We did 9k, and I think overall we did quite a decent amount of healing, 9.5, and we did get like 100% for the key for the healing, and we did like, I think it was like a 95 for the damage. So we did okay. And of course it was my first dungeon as a Preservation Evoker plus 20, so we got the Grimrail Depot portal, and we got some loot as well. And yeah, that's it from me. First ever real sort of coverage of a dungeon, but I wanted to put out a higher level key Preservation Evoker gameplay after the Evoker's only been out for a week. So I wanted to show the potential of the Evoker, and also the potential of having a really good Mythic Plus team. We're in a really good position for the healing and quite a good position for damage, but once you get to those higher keys, like always when it comes to healing, your priority is more on the healing side than it is on the damage side. Really different in regards to what I normally do in my videos, because I normally write a script. But this one I wanted to just make a separate video and sort of cover it as I'm watching it for the first time and get my sort of real reactions. So let me know if you liked it. Pop in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more Dragonflight content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.